Another day, another Aston Martin career mode episode here today, and this one is going to be round 19 for the US Grand Prix. Now, if you haven't seen the last one, go check it out, guys, the Japanese Grand Prix. I'll leave a link in the top right as spoilers are ahead, so this is your chance to click away. Anyway, here we are for the new episode. In the background, we have a marketing department event, and this is going to be regarding merchandise. Now, we only have 90k available, so realistically, this isn't the best option for me right now, so I'm going to go ahead and ignore that. The big thing is the regulation change, which we had confirmed in the last episode. It affects the aero and the chassis, and we have essentially 4 rounds to try and get things protected. So this is going to be the first flurry of protection upgrades as we cover off as much as possible and spend all of our points. We'll do more of these at the start of every single episode. I'm confident we'll get the aero and the chassis completely covered off. I think that's doable. What I want to try and achieve is actually do some more upgrades actually at some point before the new season starts, and basically improve the car somewhat over the off season. Now, during practice we had a bit of a moment with a bit of oversteer and losing the back end through the S section. Besides that, car was working pretty damn well, and actually, knock on wood, but it seems like we've got some decent pace around here. The car seems competitive, and I was actually quite encouraged by performance heading into this weekend's race. You can see we have a fair bit of damage for the rear wing. After that spin, I actually hit the wall, which wasn't ideal. Besides that, no real big dramas, and to be fair, we had a pretty successful practice session. We scored over 2,000 points, and we're also going to get a bunch of discounts. We hit all of our targets, so we're going to get a few extras, not just durability, which is great. So yeah, we'll look to hopefully do a few upgrades, like I said, later on in the season once we protect the existing ones. We've got a bit of rain forecast to qualifying, around 40%, 25 at the very end, possibly dries up. We are officially and now visibly last in the performance chart this weekend. So yeah, we're in a bit of trouble now in terms of performance this race. But regardless, we're going to not let that get us down, and we're going to crack on with qualifying. And as you just saw a moment ago, we have rain forecast. So we'll see how the car performs in wet conditions. I feel like I've actually unlocked performance, not just in this career mode, but in general. And I know how to drive in the wet now. I was always driving with pressures way too low at all times on this game.
Okay, so this light rain is going to be with us for a while now. We're not certain which is the best tyre right now, dries or inters.
So there is the weather update, and looks like it's going to be pretty much these conditions for at least Q1. So let's see if we can hopefully find our rhythm and get used to the conditions and adapt. First up on the board isn't anything particularly inspiring, as we go last of the runners that have set a lap time, and we're slower than our teammates. So second attempt, we find a bit of time through turn 1, and usually I hope to find time on our second lap. We do have a bit of pressure on from behind, and I think in the form of Lewis Hamilton, who's also starting a lap, and that was just a bit of a distraction for me. I wasn't really improving that much anyway as well. The second lap wasn't going the way I wanted it to, so at this point I kind of realised, you know what, I'm not going to take a risk, and that mistake kind of capped it all off. So I actually decided to just pull over and let Lewis go, and we'll basically recharge the batteries and go for another attempt. And yeah, here we are then. So we let Lewis go, and we're going again on the same tyres. We've still got enough fuel, and we have a bit of a correction there, as you can see at the end of the S section, which puts us 2.5 tenths down, which is even worse than the last attempt. And I felt like there was so much time to find, yet I couldn't find it for some reason. And this was really baffling to me. The car felt good, you know, for the most part, and as I said before, I feel like I've unlocked how to drive in the wet, and that's basically by running really high tyre pressures. That seems to make a big difference. So yeah, here we are now at the end of the lap, and we found a big chunk of time as we get our skate on and get the drifting going through the penultimate corner, and we lose a chunk of time. Regardless, into the final corner we're going to find a bit more, and we're going to improve by pretty much 4 tenths of a second. Across the line we go P17, and that's not terrible, only just under 3 tenths off P15 and getting into Q2. So after that run I made some adjustments. I did a +1 on the front wing. I'm going to just raise my tyre temps a little bit, and also we're going to open up the diff so that the car essentially rotates a bit more. So we're running 50 on the off diff, and that should give us a bit more rotation in the slow corners. So with those adjustments in place and potentially looking at a bit more oversteer with a bit more front wing as well, I'm hoping I can get the car to work, because I just felt like I had a bit of understeer on that first set of lap times. Straight away, turn 1, look at the difference. A fresh set of tyres.
Okay, there's 2 minutes left in this session and we're in the drop zone. We need a quick lap or that's qualifying over for us.
However, we just cut the S section. A real shame as we invalidate. Luckily, I've gone out with time to spare because I knew something like this might happen, so I've given myself a second chance. And yeah, I was actually up by...
That's just 30 seconds left in the session.
I was actually up by nearly as much as half a second in the first sector, so I know there's time to be found. So here we go, second attempt. Yet again, we now turn 1 and we're 2/10 up. Through turn 2, we keep momentum going. Now into the S section. Do we cut or invalidate? Looks good, looks good. Running a bit wide through there, but we get a good line to kind of cut back underneath. And we have a bit of a correction there, but we're still finding time. And look at the difference now. This is where the setup change is really helping us out, combined with a fresh set of tyres. Look at this, we're half a second up as we make our way into sector 2, down into the hairpin. This could be a Q2 appearance here if we hook this up. Through the hairpin, nicely done, getting a nice late apex and also getting the car squared up, getting on the power, and we can now take a breather down the back straight. At this point, we're still P18, check the flag out, spot the 100 and try to cut the corner as much as possible as you can get away with it. As you can see, beautifully done there. Also avoid taking too much exit curb. And we're 6.5 tenths up and 2 tenths up crucially on Magnussen. So this is on the money. Making our way into sector 3 now on these kind of tight rights and lefts, looking to hopefully set a decent lap time. This is the corner where I really struggle compared to the AI and trying to get the power down as we make our way through the triple right-hander. Slowly but surely finding even more time as we now go through the final 2 corners here, keeping it within track limits. Into the final corner, down to third, lock up the fronts a little and I just missed the apex and I lose a bit of time. Across the line though, and it's enough for P11 and we're out of Q1 and into Q2 as we make progress, and we make it by pretty much, you could say, a good 2/10 of a second over Pierre Gasly. So that is a really, really awesome result. Very happy with that one. The car working beautifully well, and we move into Q2. Now with that said, here we are yet again, the same conditions pretty much in this session, and I went back out on that first set of tyres that we used in Q1, which is my most worn set. Across the line, a banker 42.5, which isn't too bad, but we're still last of the runners that have set a lap time. I will then go on to set a second attempt, losing a bit of time though through turn 1. Eventually we found a bit of lap time and we was up by 1/10.5 as we now make our way through the final 3 corners after 2 red sectors. You can see we're 4/10 up now into the final corner, this time not missing the apex, and across the line it's going to be a 4/10 improvement, which gives us P13. Now we're going to get a quick weather update.
It looks like the weather's going to dry up in about 5 minutes time. Okay, not sure whether dries or inters are faster, we're right on the crossover.
Now that really made things interesting. I was tempted to maybe gamble on a dry, but when I saw the first few cars going out on inters, I noticed the track was still not there yet and it was still raining. So I put on a fresh set of tyres and we're going to try again with essentially just 1 attempt and fuel for 1 lap only. Turn 1, 4th gear, we get a beautiful line as we brake perfectly and get the exit, and already 2.5 tenths up, make that 3 tenths up as we blast through turn 3 into the S section, over the curbs. Could have attacked the first 2 a bit more, but for the most part, pretty decent. Sector 1 ends with us 4 tenths up and matching Sergio Perez in P11. Into 4, 5 and 6. Unfortunately, again, we just take a bit too much curb and invalidate. I wanted to finish the lap anyway, just out of curiosity, which would have given us a 1:41.169, and that would have been P13. So in the end, it didn't cost us a terrible amount. Admittedly, I didn't commit, or I didn't push as much as I would have, but I don't know if I would have gotten through. It would have been really close. It would have taken a perfect lap to get into Q3. However, for the most part, I'm happy and I'm encouraged. The car is improving, and even though we're bottom of the performance chart, it certainly doesn't feel that way, and the car is stronger than what the true pace shows. So I think we've got a chance this weekend, and I think we can get points in the race.
Here we are then, in one of the fastest growing cities in the United States, the fabulous Austin in the great state of Texas. The circuit itself, 14 miles southeast of the city centre, has been home to the US Grand Prix since 2012, the latest in a long list of iconic tracks to have that honour. We're racing then today in Travis County, Texas, around the 20 corners of the wonderful Circuit of the Americas. We'll be reaching speeds around 200 miles per hour here today, and there are plenty of good opportunities to pass, especially through the 2 DRS zones into turn 1 and the long back straight into turn 12. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Fernando Alonso, Sergio Perez, and Tsunoda. Bottas, Leclerc, they've taken a grid penalty. Martinez and Pierre Gasly. Verstappen, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Magnussen, Daniel Ricciardo, and Sainz. Albon, Mick Schumacher, Esteban Ocon, and Nicholas Latifi. They've taken a grid penalty. Joe and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. And joining me again for the race today, Natalie Pinkham. Why don't we kick off by discussing Max Verstappen? As ever, the threat of unreliability is never far away, and indeed they'll be starting out of position today due to power unit component changes. It's going to be a difficult task to move forward from there.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a much more aggressive approach today to make up for that compromised start.
So, lofty heights for this race here today in USA, the Circuit of the Americas. We're starting from P9 after a couple of penalties, of course, and even though we bottled Q2, we essentially kind of replicated making it into Q3 because Q3 was going to be dry. So, I probably wouldn't have gotten much better than P9 anyway. So, in a way, we kind of basically simmed it and got a result. So, yeah, starting 9th, already in the points, which is huge. If we can finish in the points, I'll take that right now. I'll take a P10 right now. So, strategy for this race is a medium to hard tyre strat. I think we've got some pace here. I really do believe. Even in practice, in the dry, I was encouraged by what I saw. Fuel-wise, I'm going for 0.5 extra, which is sort of what we usually run. But this time, I'm going to go a little bit low. I'm going to go 0.2 because we're a bit higher up and I want to try and stay competitive. I've readjusted the setup. I've actually kept the wing a little bit higher because I liked how it felt, but we've readjusted the transmission and also we've readjusted the tyre pressures for dry weather running. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, guys. I can't wait. I think we've got some pace and I think we can hold on to this. Either way, we'll find out if that prediction is true, but we're going to jump into it and get into the action. One thing I've noticed, Tsunoda is P5, so we're going to have to get ahead of him. Gasly also behind us, so AlphaTauri looking pretty strong so far. They seem to be the only rivals we have. Ooh, perfect.
Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid is formed. Be ready with the clutch.
Here we go then. Let's make it a good one. We'll try and go for the outside line. Tsunoda on softs and gets a brilliant start. I'm going to shut off the outside as Magnussen's on soft as well. Look at that, right on the outside we go, and we pick up a bunch of places. We're going to get boxed in on the exit there by Perez, but crucially we get Bottas, who can hopefully now battle with some of that faster traffic behind. But that was a really nice start up into P7, and now we're going to find out if we have the minerals to fight in this race and be competitive. So let's try and start the first 2 laps. That's when the AI are going to be at their strongest. We've got faster traffic in the form of Leclerc behind, Perez in front. So we'll do our best. Verstappen also will be looking to fight back through. So we'll see how it goes. Excellent hairpin though, as we get a really nice exit as well. I'm going to try to not drain all the battery. This will also be the first indication of our straight line speed, which seems to be okay, considering I'm running a little bit higher front wing. So this is encouraging. This should be a much better straight line speed once lap 3 rolls around and the AI aren't using full power. So I think we have a race car today, early doors. Ideally, I'm looking at Cota on the 2-stop. Hopefully that will make things a little easier for us. That soft tyre I don't think will last very long around here. And I think I've got the right pressures for tyre wear, so let's see how this goes. And let's try and stick with the pack. You can see Bottas is actually dropping off behind. Not sure if that's damage or pace, but he's struggling to keep up. Really good first lap though, happy with that so far. Ooh. Moment there, luckily we held it pretty well. We've kept up here and DRS will be enabled, so this is encouraging, very encouraging.
Okay, DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Checo having a look, and that's end plate, that could be Checo. Let's see who struggles through the S's, but we've got a chance here to maybe pick up Checo and Tsunoda. Tsunoda, of course, not that fast, even on a soft line. Checo definitely damaged. So here comes the opportunity. Checo's got a lot of damage actually. Oh, I don't know where to go. I'm being held quite badly. I'm just going to wait for the DRS and then we'll try and race after Yuki. I'll take a warning, I don't mind. But I feel like I can stay ahead of Leclerc, so I want to try and fight. We'll take a bit of a wider line and set up the exit. Here we go. We'll have to drain all the battery we've got to get past here. The Red Bull's pretty speedy. Might take a bit of a dive bomb. That Red Bull is actually really speedy. Wow. Gonna go for the big old yeet up the inside. I don't believe it. I do not believe it. He just drives into me. Virtual safety car. Wow. Unbelievable. We've got severe floor damage. Oh man. We'll try and pit. And essentially get our stop out the way and try and go to the end. It's wishful thinking. Maybe we can get a safety car to bail us out later on. Hopefully I can jump Checo here. He's got to get a wing change. I don't. There we go. Back in front of Checo. Nice. He's on soft though, to be fair, so he's going to probably speed past. But this is our only stop.
Alright, we'll be doing one more stop today. One stop left in this strategy. Okay, VSC ending. We're going green. Maintain positive delta until the green flags.
That's a shame I lost my delta there. I had 6 seconds worth of delta when I pit. Let's see how the car feels. It's going to be hard to judge on cold tyres, but hopefully it's somewhat drivable. Oh wow, Checo's got the run already. He's in full power mode. Idiot. Absolute idiot. Why? I still can't believe that happened. That was a nice, clean move. Got the car stopped, kept it on the track, and then he just drives into the side pod as if I'm not there. He was trying to take the outside curb, for God's sakes. Anyway, we've got a bit of tyre temp now, so we'll try and keep them working. Doesn't feel terrible, but I'll give it another lap or two just to really get the tyres warmed up and build up some confidence. Feels a bit snappy on the rear, but I can't tell if that's hard tyre or not. We've got a fresh set of mediums, which is good, so we've got something to fall back on if there is a safety car or another possibility to make something happen. The car feels okay, this feels drivable. Okay, so half a second off. That's not terrible. I think I can do a bit better than that. Let's keep chipping away. This corner is very sketchy. I will admit this is the one corner I'm not very confident. The car is basically floating. We might have some issues later on tyre wear through there. The last pits, which tells me a lot of cars are potentially on a 2-stop strategy. So we may not be out of this just yet. Let's see if more cars pit on the next lap. Let's see if the VSC has also helped us. There is Stroll, and there is, looks like Magnussen. I've completely messed that up, but we'll try and stick with these two. I think that would be a pretty good moving target if I can stay in the DRS of the 2 cars ahead. So let's see. Oh dear. I was pushing hard to keep up there. And we're going to probably lose DRS now. I couldn't really keep up for that long. Doesn't feel terrible, but we're just lacking. I wonder if we've also got a bit of drag as we have damaged floor. Okay, here we go. Magnussen, Stroll battling. And Magnussen through. Presumably with some DRS. Stroll with a cutback. Stroll did lock up into the final corner, but this is going to help us just stay in touch. A little bit more of that, and we can stick with them. Oh, okay, yellow flag.
Here's some information on Tsunoda for you. They're retiring from the race.
We'll take that. Tsunoda, of course. We started P5. Cars in their pits, and I've just dropped out DRS onto the pit straight there. I wonder if something happened with Ocon, considering how far back he is. I am struggling. It's drivable, but I have very little rear traction, and I think I'm down the straight a little bit, so I'm going to have to maybe drop the wing by 1 if I stop again to kind of compensate. Okay, Checo pits for his second stop of the race, and I'm assuming he's going to maybe even stop again as he's on onto a set of mediums. Have to go quite a long way to get those to the end. Okay, so now the majority of cars are pitting, so we're going to see just exactly where we are in this race, and if we actually have a chance of maybe getting points, because the more laps that go on, the more I'm actually leaning towards maybe going to the end. I think I could actually stretch it. We've been in a lot of trouble. We're struggling massively on tyres, but the pace is still semi-decent, and we're hanging in there. So P13, more cars will be in at the end of this lap. Everyone's on the hards as well, which is a bit of a level playing field. A little bit concerned about the fuel. If I do go to the end, I'm not saving enough, so I may run out. Anyway, more cars in the pits. We're going to be neck and neck with Sainz here. I'm going to try and beat him to the corner if I can.
Okay, be careful. We think you're going to start losing some tyre grip anytime now.
So that puts us just in the points. Of course, Stroll, Magnussen have to stop again, so that would move us up another 2 places. But this ain't going to last very long. I've got very little straight line speed. I think the drag is horrific because of the damage. I wasn't this slow in the first 2 laps, but now we're way off. More Sainz all over the back, mate, and already going for the move. Trying not to lose too much time battling here.
We're approaching the pit window, and you're going to be on mediums.
And here goes Ricciardo. We'll let them both crack on, and I'll try and do my own thing. The funny thing is, I could have probably made this strategy work if, I know it's, you know, hindsight, but if the damage hadn't been as bad as it is, or even if I'd had no damage and just pit on lap 3 for hards, I think I could have got this to the end and actually had some decent pace in clean air, but the damage is too much, I'm losing too much. I'm going to get absolutely destroyed here, Ian alive, on the straight. There comes Valtteri. I'll defend the inside and show them the long way around. But we're pretty much trying our best to form a train now. If the 2 cars ahead pit, that would drop us in the top 10. So we're essentially defending for our life. But I don't know if we're going to have the tyres to hold on at the end. We might lose that battle. And on cue, Lance pits, and so does Magnussen.
Okay, the pit window's open, so let's box this lap. Box this lap.
So we're now back in the points. And we're going to the end now, and we're going to see if we can hold on. If I lose this points position, I'll probably just pit for a set of tyres. But we're still kind of holding out for a safety car or something. I just don't know if we're going to make it with this strategy.
Yellow flag.
Ooh. Okay, here we go. Ricciardo with a mistake.
Green flag.
Try and put another car behind us. Bottas is approaching. Uh-oh, this could be ugly. Gonna just hold the inside. Let them both battle it out. Also, Perez has arrived. He's going to be very hard to keep up behind, but hey, listen, we're back in the points quite comfortably now. Got 2 chances now to drop out, so let's try and see if we can hold on for a bit longer. This ain't going to be easy, man, but that's luckily our part of the track where I'm quite strong, so I get just enough of a gap so I can gap Bottas and Co. And then my traction here is on the point, which it is. I can just stay afloat using all the battery on the straight if I have to, but it's going to be a big old defensive job for the last 9 laps here. I will say one thing that's made this a bit easier for me to manage The fuel is starting to burn off now. The car's getting light in these closing laps, and it's negating the effect of the floor damage. So even though the offset to the AI is still the same, I feel more comfortable with my own car regardless of the pace. So I'm able to just keep the pace up and push the limits a little bit more because the car's getting lighter, so it's more agile and it's kind of compensating for that damage on the floor. So this is working well, just trying to not make any mistakes. So far, doing a really good job of it, and I'm also not having to deplete the battery. A little behind. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of don't want a safety car now. I think I can get this to the end and I think I can hold on to this, but it'll be typical. Stroll's had an issue. Luckily, it looks like no safety car, so we'll take that. And now Ricciardo's scrapping with Bottas. This is what we want. A bit of AI infighting between them. This will just take the pressure off and I can do my thing. Bottas close. Luckily I've got a pretty decent charge to compensate and fight this one. First proper look he's had on the pit straight. We're going to fight our corner though. Still got enough tyres to fight, and that is a good bit of defensive driving there. Just ran a bit wide at the final corner. I thought he was going to go for the lunge, so I kind of took an early apex, but it ruined my corner line. We're okay at the minute. I think I can make this work. The only issue is we're going to have to drive into puncture territory, I think. So I just hope as long as we don't get like an instant puncher on 75, I think we can manage. Tyre wear luckily is also very balanced between all 4 tyres, which really does help. I don't have to drive a certain way to compensate. I can just keep it smooth and try to avoid having bits of wheel spin and just moments, you know, in general. A bit of AI battling at the right time would go a long way, especially in the last 2 laps. That would definitely help take the pressure off. I'm trying to keep the batteries charged up for when they go for their last push. There we go again. Another one. My final corner's starting to let me down now. But we'll just do a carbon copy of the last lap. Haven't built the gap like I have done in the past 3 laps. Under some pressure now. Exit has to be good, and it is.
Right, we've got enough fuel for 3 more laps.
It's a massive straight though, we're going to have to keep the battery on. Still hanging in there, but we're under pressure now constantly pretty much from Valtteri Bottas. Oh, Ricciardo goes for the move on Bottas there. And that will just relieve that pressure that I was feeling. And actually Bottas pits, so possible damage. Happy with that. Let's see if we can keep a bit of a gap here. Oh, that was a horrible exit. No rear grip whatsoever. We're going to fight Ricciardo to the death here. Should be able to hang on. Just 2 more laps. We have to try and be perfect. The tyres will head into puncture territory next lap. This is going to be hard. Took a wide line through the hairpin, but Ricciardo's right there. I'm going to give up some straight line speed and battery so that I can have some battery for the next 2 straights. In exchange to basically let Ricciardo get alongside into the brake zone, where I can fight him and I can defend my own. This way we're keeping some battery back for the crucial stages. 2 more straights remain, but I've got to try and hold on now. Yellow flag. Further back, that's Magnussen, I think.
Green flag.
Oh, yes, Ricciardo and Perez collide.
There's been an incident on track, but officials aren't looking to push for a safety car right now. Just be careful.
And it's causing chaos. That might just give us a bit of respite. They're still going at it, so I don't have to use battery here. I can hold on. Hamilton's won it. I just think we've got no tyres. Ricciardo closing. Gonna try and get the exit right. Oh my god, there's no rear tyres left. Okay, we're going to drain everything here. Using every last bit of the battery. This is the one straight we have to try and hold on.
Less than 1 lap of fuel left now. The tank's pretty much empty.
On the inside. There we go. Now Ricciardo with the cutback. Tyres are in puncture territory. Please hold on. Taking a nice early apex. Square off the corner. This is the last one that I'm worried about. Please hold on, tyres, please hold on. Yes, more carnage. I think we're home and dry, we're safe. Oh my god, say that, come on. Somehow, we're gonna finish where we started in P9.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
A truly magnificent drive then, and a great performance from the entire team to secure victory here in Austin. So, Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
So race done after 28 long laps. I guess we can confirm I am officially the new Minister of Defence, because that was a defensive masterclass, perfect driving, and I managed to just hold on enough pace to stay ahead. I was really thankful the car got better as the race went on, even with the worn tyres. Like I mentioned, the car got lighter on fuel and I could feel around lap 20, it became suddenly a lot more drivable, so that really helped me out. Either way guys, that is it for your lot. A bit annoyed because the pace was there, I think, especially with a fully functional car. We could have possibly challenged, to be in higher places, but ultimately we get the karma because Perez, who ruined my race, finished behind me. So very happy with that result. If we scroll all the way down, confirmation that Stroll did indeed retire. Bottas got the fastest lap. So yeah, let's look at the standings, because as you can see, Gasly got P8, which is a bit of an issue. So first of all, Drivers' Championship, we keep the gap over Magnussen, and yeah, we're pretty much, I'd say, confirmed to finish P11 now, unless something dramatic were to happen. In the Constructors though, AlphaTauri overtake Haas, and we're still covered by 6 points, but the order has changed now with AlphaTauri ahead of the American team. But we're still holding on to that P6, and we're getting those points finishes. And yeah, 3 races remain: Mexico, Brazil, Abu Dhabi. Let's try and hold on to that P6, which could be glorious for us heading into next season. Guys, that is it for this one. A like would be, I think, well deserved and much appreciated. Subscribe for more as well if you want to see more content like this, and I can't wait. Season 2, all the cars, everything is all ready to go, so I'm excited to show you guys what's in store for that. As always, a big shout out and plug to the members for supporting the channel. Finally, check out the 2 videos on screen, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and it's goodbye from me.